Everybody, we are back. It is Safe to Launch Favorite Podcast, Favorite Channel, Favorite Everything. We are back. You guys already know what to do. Hit the subscribe button. Subscribe. Hit the like button if you like it. Hit the dislike button if you don't like it. Leave a comment if you like it. Leave a comment if you don't like it. Also follow us on Twitter at the Mark John NFL for me, at mholder95 for Matt, and of course, pandasubs.com. Discount code TDL for 35% off. All right. So, of course, we're doing a film review. Matt's going to be going over the run defense. I'm going to be going over DJ Glaze versus TJ Watt, which is a big story. And, see how that actually looked. And then doing some, what the hell happened with the passing offense? Because I got that question. So we're going to be going over that. But, of course, the big news out of Tuesday or Wednesday when you guys are watching this, big news is Davante Adams is now officially a New York Jet. He was traded for a third round with a conditional second if he goes out there and balls. They haven't released it, what the incentives are yet, have they?
Yeah, it's so Shefty tweeted it out. It's either the Jets have to play in at least the AFC Championship with Davante on the active roster, or Davante has to be an All-Pro, first or second team.
Okay, so third round.
So it's a third round pick. Unless you think, so basically, the Jets have to make the playoffs, and then since they're probably not going to win the AFC East, since they're 2 games behind already, and Buffalo has the tiebreaker after Monday night, win 2 road games, or Davante Adams has to somehow go on an absolute tear in the last 11 games and make the second team All-Pro after missing 3 games. So it's a third round pick. I feel pretty comfortable in saying it's going to be a third round pick.
Yeah, so it's a third because the AFC Championship is crazy. That's a crazy incentive. That's a crazy deal. But they got a third out of it. I mean, they didn't have to pay the salary, which was their whole thing. And and Adams,
they got a third.
Yeah, basically, and that's why Adams is a Jet. But yeah, they ain't getting a second with that stuff, man. I didn't even see that. I missed that. So interesting. Because they ain't making the AFC Championship. I don't know. That means they probably got to beat like Patrick Mahomes. They got to go out and beat Patrick Mahomes. I don't even remember. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it is or Davante is a second team All-Pro, not both. I misunderstood that at first, but so I guess in theory, Davante could just go off, and that's how they get it. But again, he's missed 3 games, so it's gonna be hard statistically to get up to the guys that are gonna be first and second team All-Pros.
Yeah, he'd have to go off.
Yeah.
Right. He hasn't played since week 3, right?
Yeah.
So it's been 3 weeks without him playing. I mean, he might try to play Sunday, but who knows how healthy he really is. And he's an older player, so I mean, there's a lot of targets he's got to share over there too. I mean, it's not gonna be all him. It's gonna be Garrett Wilson, and getting some of those targets. Mike Williams. That's gonna happen, which was supposed to be. They were thought that might be part of that trade, even because Tom Telesco really does like Mike Williams, even though if you like him so much, why don't you just sign him in the first place?
He's a free agent at the end of the year, so
yeah, he could have signed him last year,
Yeah, but why would you sign him when you have Davante and Jacoby Myers and Trey Tucker? Now that you don't have Davante, now it makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want. Let me be clear. Let me be clear on my stance. I don't want them to sign Mike Williams as I think he's approaching 30 and can't stay healthy wide receiver. But I'm saying, in theory, they could sign him next year. It's because he's only on a 1-year deal. So.
And he doesn't know how to stay on the red line when he's running a route. So, that's a problem. So that was funny. But so that's. I mean, it basically is over. But now the next thing up, I tweeted this out, but the next thing up is the Maxx Crosby rumors. I already saw it on Pat McAfee and Adam Schefter. They're just laughing, Maxx Crosby, which I don't think is ever going to happen. I mean, but crazier things have happened. But, I mean, the Raiders would just have to be – they would really be not only tanking, but they would be on full rebuilds. So I don't know what that would even mean for AP. That would be, pretty bad in my opinion. I don't know what their plan would be.
I mean, the way I look at it is with Maxx Crosby, I think he's only 27, 28, something like that, still in the prime, under contract for I think 3 or 4 more years or something like that. if Maxx Crosby wants to be around, that's the type of guy you build your team around, right? Like as long as he wants to be here and he's not asking for a trade, you don't trade that guy.
Yeah.
Now, at the end of the season, gets tired of this, and I don't blame him, and asks to be dealt, then it's a different story, and pulls the kind of Davante where it's like, hey, I'm done. With all the controversy and drama that's surrounded him over the last few years, then it becomes a different situation because then you have a guy that doesn't want to be there. But Maxx doesn't strike me as that guy, and Maxx has been pretty adamant that he wants to make it work with the Raiders.
Yeah, and I still feel like with Maxx, if they just gave him more money, he'd be fine.
And he got more money. He got more money last offseason, remember?
Yeah, but they bring him up to like $30 million a year or something like that. You ain't got worried about him asking for a trade. I still think that would be a big part of it. Just kind of giving him some more money earlier, extending him a lot earlier would kind of just have that all die down a little bit, because I think he wants to be here. So if you give him the compensation, be like, hey, we really appreciate you, we don't want you to leave, and they pay him a little bit more. I think it would work, because I mean that's what the next team, if they trade him, I mean that's what the next team is going to do, and then trading him to the Lions just seems pointless. I mean, Aiden Hutchinson is going to come back. Like, just going to have Hutchinson and Crosby for like a while? Like, why would we do? Like, I don't understand. I just don't understand that process.
Why would the Lions do it? I'm like, well,
I know why the Lions would do it. I know why the Lions would do it. I do see that, but yeah, I still see why the Raiders would do that. And I mean, they would have to get like at least like 2 first-round picks or something like that crazy if they're even gonna go that route. They have to be like a Khalil Max trade.
I was gonna say 2 first-round picks for an edge rusher. I don't know. Happened before.
I think there'd be a revolt from Raiders fans. I think there'd be some would be like, Crosby, you're a traitor. And then some would be like, and then act like, well, he never set the edge. He always gave up the edge, right? And then some would be devastated. I think there would still be a split, because there's still those Raiders fans who are just so loyal to the Raiders that they would say like, Maxx never caused fumbles. They would fight. He never made plays.
Right. Yeah. He never made plays in games that mattered.
Yeah, we never made the playoffs with them anyways. So
they did.
Oh yeah, we did. They did make the playoffs with them 2021. I guess that's true. We didn't win a playoff game.
Yeah, they didn't win a playoff game.
How many sacks do you have in that game? That would be the energy from some Raiders fans. But yeah, man. All right. So enough of that. I mean, it's over. Adams is gone. We ain't got to talk about that really anymore. Moved on. So let's get to the ugly performances that we have to talk about for the rest of the year.
God, this episode sucks. I hate it. Talk about trading our best 2 players. Now it's going to this crappy game.
Another 32-13 loss review. The Raiders either win by 4 points or 3 points by less than a touchdown, or they get blown out by at least 3 scores or 2 scores. Yeah, so that's what we've been learning here throughout this season, because it was 36-22, 22-10, 32-13, and what was the other one? The one against the Broncos, 34-18. That's right. So we are I don't know what the point differential is, but it has to be bad.
The defense won by a total of what? 7 points?
Yeah.
4 against the Browns and 3 against the Ravens.
Yeah, so I mean, they look like one of the worst teams in the league at this point. Yeah. It's like sad to say, because you didn't really expect that. And I know they're dealing with injuries. Wilkins is out, Kuntz is out. Of course, they lost Adams. Jacoby Myers is hurt. They're beat up, right? They're a beat up football team too. But it kind of showed that this was kind of like a top heavy roster, and when those guys started to go down, this is what we're going to see. So, I mean, that's kind of how the film looked. But so how the defense looked to you? What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see it a little bit like this game, and I think everyone could have predicted, like you talked about, they're missing Christian Wilkins. There were a few reps where defensive tackle play wasn't great. I thought Adam Butler had a decent game, but he also missed a couple tackles that we'll see that ended up being costly. And coverage-wise, I actually think they did all right. There were a few times where they got a little bit lucky. They were playing against a against Justin Fields, where Fields didn't quite see the field and missed some open guys, but for the most part, like I thought the coverage was fine. Like a lot of the passing yards that the Steelers got were off scrambles, and scramble drills were, somebody's gonna break loose at some point. But yeah, the run defense was just atrocious. Once the Steelers figured out that they could just run it down the Raiders' throats, which was the second half, they just lined up basically and played a ton of 12 personnel and played bully football and started blowing them off the ball. And then, of course, the missed tackles became an issue too, which we'll see plenty of that too. So a lot of the same issues we've been seeing. I will say this game, one of the most frustrating parts for me is I do have to put a little bit of the blame on Patrick Graham on the coaching staff. Like I watched the film and like there were plays where I'm like, did they think they were playing Russell Wilson? Like, did they realize they were playing a quarterback who beat you with his legs more than he does with his arm? Because there was a couple plays, and we'll see him on the film, where I'm like, they don't look like they're prepared for Fields' rushing ability. And like, there's one play in particular where they just left the middle of the field wide open for him, and he scrambled and picked up like a 15-yard first down. I'm like, this is the type of guy that, if anything, just make him beat you with his arm, because he doesn't want to. That's not the type of player he does, and that was just frustrating for me because I'm like, it felt like the game plan was awful to defend Fields. And again, we'll see a couple examples of it. The last clip I have on here was the most egregious to me from that angle of like they just weren't ready to play a running quarterback, which is wild because it's not like Fields came off the bench or something anywhere. Like Russell Wilson's the guy that hadn't played all year, and again, I almost hope that the game plan was for Russell Wilson, because I'd have a lot of questions about why they thought they could get away with the stuff they were doing against Fields.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, the defense is, I mean, like I said, they're dealing with a lot of injuries, but the defense is probably the most disappointing part of the season, because we could talk about the offense, but, we sat through the training camp. We knew the offense was going to be a struggle. O'Connell and Gardner Minshew didn't have good camps. The offense didn't have a good camp. We were expecting like the defense to be super dominant, because like, maybe it's the defense is dominant, where now we're just finding out that the offense was just bad and the defense is just really much better. But like they don't like I said, they don't have Kuntz, they don't have Wilkins, so those things are a big part of it. But like, Jack Jones has been a disappointment. Bennett has been a high point, but like he can't tackle really, so it kind of hurts them in the long run, because teams are just running down their throat now. And then Divine Diablo had a good game, but like it was just, I don't know. It just feels like that they've been the disappointment so far. Yeah. And like I said, I know they're dealing with injuries, 100%. But we were expecting them to play low-key great defense this year, right? Because that's how they ended the year last year. And then going into this year, there was more expectations on the defense. But I feel like just from people's reaction and everything, we're not focusing on how they're struggling, right?
Yeah.
And that's a big part of it. I think that should be the main focus, because, I mean, that was our whole expectations this year. Like, they're going to play great defense, so they're going to be in games, and then hopefully the quarterbacks just don't get in the way.
Yeah, and I think to build off what you're saying too is I feel like with the offense, like the problems that they're having are the problems we knew that they were going to have in the beginning of the year. Quarterback play is a problem. Offensive line play is not great. With the defense, like you can, again, it kind of builds off what you're saying, where like we thought they were going to be good. Like what they're struggling at is stuff that we didn't expect. Like the fact that I don't remember. I mean, I'd have to look at the numbers. I don't remember tackling being this big of an issue last year, and it's just gotten to a point where like I'm like, this might be the worst in like NFL history. Obviously, you don't have great data to prove that, but like they're legitimately the worst tackling team in the NFL this year. They're getting pushed around in the running game. Like a guy like John Jenkins is another guy we'll see here. He cannot take on a combo block and a double team right now to save his life, and it's been miserable. And I think that's the frustrating part, is like things that we thought they'd be better at defensively, they're not. And at least in the last few weeks, I mean, maybe to begin the year they were better at that, but it's not like if you would have told me like their corners are getting shredded, I would have believed it. Like I could like fathom that in my head with going into the season, but that's like far from my biggest issue right now. Like that's one of the least of my concerns of this right now. Like Ja'Cory Bennett is, I mean, he's not playing great, but Ja'Cory Bennett is like the least of my concerns. I'm more worried about Jack Jones than I am Ja'Cory Bennett at this stage in this season.
Yeah. That's the biggest issue, man. I agree with you. The offense, I mean, the offense was just was just vanilla as hell. I think that was my whole problem. Like it just felt like they didn't trust Aiden O'Connell. Like it was like they were treating him like he was a rookie, or just like I guess he didn't know what to do. Like, how do I use this guy? Like I don't know how to do this. And then they were so freaked out about TJ Watt, it took Brock Bowers out of the game. And then when they're like down 29-7, they're like, okay, well, it doesn't matter anymore about chipping him. We're now 29-7, and they started isolating him inside, and you just had like 7 catches in like the last 2 drives, and it kind of showed that maybe if they don't face such a good pass rush, maybe they won't be as scared. But yeah, it was a big deal. Like none of the deep stuff that Getz usually does, he didn't do any of it. It was just like a bunch of sticks, which I'm going to show. Just sticks over and over again. And he dressed it up with some motions and stuff, but it wasn't going to work because they were playing cover 3, and then they were playing the flats, and they were playing for them not to be able to throw that ball downfield. So, it should have been a point where they just started throwing it downfield, with reckless abandon, because the Steelers would have got caught off guard because they were not expecting them to. So, yeah. But I thought DJ Glaze got a lot of help, but he held his own. I thought the offensive line they were hit and miss like they usually are in the run game. The run game started off really well, but then it didn't do anything. Like Amir Abdullah is the best running back on this team right now. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm like, you just play Amir Abdullah at this point. Like it's just to say that, it just hurts my soul.
Yeah,
but it's true though. He is literally he has the longest run of the year. He had some great runs this game. When they gave him carries, he was getting positive runs. He was the only one like seeing the holes and hitting them. Then he had that terrible fumble, but he broke a tackle on that play where he shouldn't have broke. But then he didn't put 2 hands on the ball, and then I don't know how hard TJ Watt punches, but that man, that looks like it was a knockout punch. He would have knocked me out. I don't know how hard he punches, man, but he punches hard. And that ball came right out. I know. But when he did he like knocked Abdullah backwards too, like with the punch. Like he didn't even tackle him. He just punched him in the stomach. It was just I was like, good Lord. So yeah, but that's just sick to say because it's true. Amir Abdullah is the best running back on this team. It's just sick.
Which is sad. It's sad.
It's very sad.
Yeah, with the least I don't know how to say this. The short, or what should be the shortest tenure, the least bright future on the team is the best running back. That's not exactly ideal. But yeah. I remember I saw your tweet earlier today where you're talking about Luke Getsy being like a vertical passing guy and like them not having Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew as the quarterbacks. Like it does, like looking back on it, like yeah, that was a big time oversight. Like it does make me think like, man, they really thought they were going to be able to get Michael Penix in the draft if that's what their plan was. Yeah, because this is just not meshing up like you talked about, and a lot of his concepts. So it'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, and he tried to do him, Minshew. But Minshew just looks at it and is like, oh, I don't know, and then just didn't get sacked. You know what I mean? Like that's basically with O'Connell. He's like, I'm not going to do it at all. I'm just going to call sticks, and then and then at the end of the game, I'm going to try to call it, and then O'Connell's going to try to. He doesn't see. I guess he didn't think that Jackson would come off his cover 3 and come over the top of that one play, but that's exactly what happened. And you missed terribly, and then he came over and just picked it. So. Yeah, it was ugly, man. All right, let's get into this film. I'll go first, I guess. All right, guys. All right, so we'll talk about DJ Glaze versus TJ Watt. So he did get a lot of help. So we're gonna talk about this. I mean, he got a ton of help. I mean, and this is really why Brock Bowers is kind of out of this game. See, here comes Bowers here. He's gonna help DJ Glaze on this play right here. See the drop, Brock Bowers chip, quick little chip. He's gonna release now. Here you see basically TJ Watt's going to go to one arm and he's going to try to rip through. But, he does. DJ Glaze does a pretty good job here, kind of just pushing him around. Doesn't allow him to rip through. And O'Connell gets his ball off. And then, of course, Trey Tucker slipped, so it didn't matter. But he gets his ball off, kind of throws it. I don't know if Tucker would have caught this ball. He might have if he doesn't fall because it's kind of like right to him. But, As you can see, like this is basically the whole game. This is why, like you talk about, well, why didn't Brock Bowers get any targets? Because he was doing this most of the game. Is you're gonna see it. All right, here's another rep here. This time you get Madison on the chip. Right, TJ Watt, he's gonna go power rush here, but you get a chip, kind of knocks him off balance, kind of gives him plenty of time. But you still see how Glaze still lost off of this, right? So you still get the power even with the chip, right? Still kept him off balance, but he's kind of already he's off balance too because he's getting pushed back by Watt. Watt just keeps pushing. He's got his hands inside. DJ Glaze's hands are outside. Kind of pushes through, but O'Connell gets rid of this ball so quick it's not a sack here. Bring it back a little bit. See there. Oops. So it wasn't perfect. I mean, they didn't count this as a pressure, but I mean, you kind of see that he still got beat here. If O'Connell was to get rid of this ball quick, yeah, that still would have been a sack. All right. Here we go, Brock Bowers. Like I said, once again, here goes Brock Bowers. He's got a chip. And I want to point out this is why the Raiders need a number one wide receiver. No matter how you feel about Brock Bowers, because he was completely eliminated because he had to double team TJ Watt. Now, later on, you're going to see that they probably should have worried about this guy too. They didn't think about that. They just left JPJ one-on-one by himself. But, we give DJ guys help. Now, so we get a good chip here. Now, of course, he goes back to the long arm, right, which he was really trying to use against Glaze most of the game because then he rips under here, which is a great move. He goes long arm and rips under right with one hand. Glaze does a pretty good job of pushing him around the pocket, but you still see, like I said, if O'Connell's to get rid of this ball, it's a sack. Like he's beating around the corner. You see how he's got the bend. He's coming right towards him. If he held this ball any longer, trying to hit any of these deep routes, that's a sack. So watch one more time here. Get the chip. Just gives him a little more time. Collins tries to get rid of that ball before he comes in. Gets a sack there. All right, next one here. Another chip by Brock Bowers. Like I said, just totally took Bowers out of the game, trying to chip him. But see, this is a better rep, though, from Glaze. And let's go here. Get the chip. He still got his hands outside, but you kind of could see that, it was a little bit of a kind of a deal of Watt setting the edge here, but he still does a good job of not letting him get his little rip move that he was trying to do on him all game. He was trying to go long arm to rip for most of this game. Just a good job there on that one. Oh, here's Brock Bowers again. I wonder what he's going to do. Oh no! Actually, you get Alex Bachman on the chip this time, right? I think it's see this. That's the thing here. So it's kind of funny. So so he just beats everybody. So you get Alex Bachman with the chip. Like, okay, cool. So Alex Bachman lets him go, and then here comes Glaze. Glaze doesn't get out here quick enough, right?
No.
It's very slow getting out there, and he just rips right through him. You see, Andre James is fighting for his life. I still think James should just went down backwards with the ship. He tried to ride it out. He should just went down. Just go down and just let him get this pass off. but he got he had to help him. He tackled him. But you see, Watt still beats Glaze here. I mean, this doesn't. I don't know if this doesn't count as a pressure because the play doesn't count. But he clearly beats him. And you see, there's basically a sandwich at the quarterback. And we got a high low here. Still a great catch from Bowers there. Watch one time here. Boom. High low. Boom. Even though I don't, I guess the tackle and the holds.
that's why it wouldn't go down to the pressure. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. All right, so here's he gets another chip here. This time it's from Harrison Bryant. So he got a lot of help. Like let's keep it real. He got a lot of help. He did. There's about his pressures and what he gave up. He got a lot of help. So you see here now he goes for the little chop here. He's getting a chop on him, but it's a good job by Glaze. He gets out a little bit quicker here. I guess he realized from last time, even if I got a chip, I just can't pussyfoot out here. I gotta make sure I get to my set here. And then he tries to chop at him. Does a good job of break through that chop. He's got his hands inside right there. Kind of gains control. Allows O'Connell to have some time. Of course, O'Connell rushes his throw and misses Harrison Bryant over the middle. But you can kind of see it was a great rep from Glaze here. You see O'Connell he just rushes this. He just didn't take his time. He doesn't even set his feet really. He kind of just throws off his back foot. And that's why he airmailed it. All right, here we go. Another one here. Another chip from Harrison Bryant this time. Boom, you get a chip. He does a good job on this one. After the chip, kind of controlling them. He gets a little help inside. And of course, like I said, like I talked about, they left JPJ by himself, though. JPJ is by himself against Cam Hayward, who has like 7 sacks or something. I don't know how many sacks he's got this year, but he's got a lot. And so they're so worried about TJ Watt. And you see everybody's, focusing on where the Watt side that we got JPJ one-on-one with one of the greatest defensive tackles of all time. And you see what happened. He just got destroyed there. That's a sack. He just tosses O'Connell like a rag doll. So here's another one. Get another chip here. You get another chip on this one. He kind of like fakes the chip there. TJ Watt, he's going to go back to the rip. Now, he does a really good job on this one. I thought he does a good job. And it felt like when he was like alone, he did better, which is going to be frustrating when you keep watching this. So see how he kind of fakes the long arm again, and he goes right to the rip. But you see how Glaze does a good job of keeping him from ripping through, able to reset and kind of push him around the pocket, allows O'Connell to step up and throw an interception.
The way you delivered that was perfect. I was going to step up and throw an interception.
But it's a great rep by Glaze, man. It's a great rep. Pushes right around the pocket. This is what you want. Quarterbacks allowed to step up. Got good clean pocket for the O-line. He just steps up. He just throws the interception. So, yeah. But this is why it got frustrating for me because, like I said, we get some of these routes here, and when they stop making Bowers and tight ends block him one-on-one, they're down 29-7 when this happened. So maybe they felt desperate, but it kind of showed that maybe they could have left Glaze by himself a couple times and for the better of the passing game, but they just refused. So you see on this one, we're getting a choice route here, and we get Glaze one-on-one, and some of his best reps against TJ Watt were one-on-one. See a good job of kind of like not showing his hands. He allows him to show the rip move here, kind of gets the chop. He tries to rip again. He does a good job of just pushing him around the pocket. Good power there. Kind of controls him. You see Meredith coming to help, but it gives O'Connell a clean pocket. He hits Bowers. Bowers gets 10. Let's watch one more time here. All right, tries to go the same move he's kind of been doing the whole game because he's been beating him with it. And Glaze does a good job of just pushing around the pocket. Stays strong. Gets his hands on him. You can tell he's a really strong guy. Get it out to Bowers there. All right, here's another one here. One-on-one. Now, like see when he was one-on-one, he really showed his hands. Really, like he was trying to make TJ Watt commit to what he was going to do. Right. So TJ Watt's going long arm again. He gets his hands inside a lot better. It's a great set from him, right? Now on this one, you see how he tries to rip through again, but he just pushes him around the pocket. This allows O'Connell to step up. He's got a clean pocket in front of him. O'Connell's able to step up and throw a little choice route here to Madison. So it was just funny. He just played better when he was alone.
I feel like the biggest thing too is when he was alone, he'd actually like get more width on his pass sets, whereas before he was hanging in to like help the guard a little bit more, which part of the problem. So sometimes chipping can work against you.
100%. You see, here's another one. Now, Dwight actually had to switch it up. He's like, okay, I'm losing to this guy. Like, what's happening? So he tries to switch it up here. Tries to give a little jab step, get inside, right? And he does catch Glaze a little bit, but Glaze is, like I said, he's so strong. He's able to get his hands on him, keep him from moving, breaking inside. Of course, he's got help inside too. And it just allows O'Connell to have a clean pocket, get that pass off on a choice route. So, I mean, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad from DJ Glaze. It wasn't bad. So, I mean, there were some impressive reps here. So, yeah, I just want to talk about this passing offense because it was just a lot of sticks, man. And I just can't stand sticks because sticks just it's not a big play. You can't get a big play off sticks. You maybe get like 14, something like that. You see here, this is what they try to do all game is just the sticks route. So you see the concept. You're gonna get the same kind of concept too. You're gonna get a dig route from Tucker on the backside, but you want to hit Brian here. They're playing, of course, the Steelers play a lot of drop cover 3, which was kind of frustrating me about how he couldn't pick these guys apart because that's what they do. They do drop cover 3. They did switch it up a little bit, play a little cover 5. But what is sticks? I guess I should explain that. So sticks is basically you get a flat here, and then you get basically depending on the coverage, he'll do like either a hitch or he'll kind of slide to the outside, right? And that's what they really were trying to do for most of this game, and it just got a little annoying. So you even see like this is like the only play action they ran during this game. Really, they didn't do a lot of play action right here, and they were able to isolate Brock Bowers, which of course there ended up be some pressure here. I think O'Connell got a little scared from last week where he threw too early. He was gonna throw it. He's like, maybe Brock's not ready for it. Still got a good ball there under pressure. But then you see here again, you're going to see sticks again. You're getting sticks one more time. Here we go. We're getting Bryant and Bowers this time, right? Okay, read it outside in. You did a good job. There you go, Connell. But then, you're only getting like 8 yards, though. And you got a great tackle from Deshaun Elliott. But you're only getting like 8 yards, so you're not getting nothing. Second down on 11. Oh, you got about 8. Really, really mundane. And then, he tried to like add some window dressing to sticks, which I think is hilarious to me, in my opinion, because now we get a motion, right? So, you get Abdullah, he's going to come in and he's going to come right back out to the flat with the little pick route for it, right? From Bachman. But you still only get 3, it's not like, you get a first down, but there's like there was no trying to get explosive here. And like I said, they ran this play a lot, guys. This is very annoying, to be honest. So here we go again. I believe this is sticks again on this one. So you're getting a form of it. Yeah, so now you're getting it out of the backfield. So you're getting Madison's to come out. You're going to see Bowers run the hitch. They're going to add a little corner route to it. Well, watch how the Steelers play this, right? So the Steelers play it perfectly. They're in cover 3. See Porter, he's not getting too deep here because he knows that they're trying to throw short, so he's not going to get too deep on this. And he knows he's got a little help from Minka over the top. The backside digs aren't open, so there's nothing for him, and they just play this. They just play this perfectly. There's nowhere for him to go. You can't go there. He goes there. Can't go to Bowers. You can't go to the dig. You can't go to Bryant. And there's just nowhere for this man to go. And then he has to get out of the pocket and just nothing. And that was a lot of this passing game, man. And then one thing that you could talk about Aiden O'Connell not being on the move that allowed them to play cover 5. which is cover 2 man if you like to play Madden. And you can see all the trail techniques they're doing, right? So you're seeing it here. He's going to come to Madison out here. He kind of wants Wilkins over the top, but you see that they're playing trail. He's playing anything short. He knows he's got help over the top there. He's kind of just trail behind Wilkerson. And then watch, I think this is Jackson here. See how Jackson just leaves DJ Turner? Like,
yeah,
he's not supposed to do that.
Trap coverage, I think.
Yeah, a little trap coverage, kind of. But you see they even playing trail on Tucker here, but then they got Mink over the top, so he has to come here, and here comes Davante Jackson tackle, even though he missed it. But that's what you got Patrick Queen for. So, and here's another one here. So this is like basically how they played it too. Is you get a little corner route or like an out route here from Tucker, but they were trying to play short, so they're going to this quick out. You're gonna watch Aiden O'Connell. His eyes are gonna go over here, and then he almost was a pick here on this one, but lucky he got knocked down. You see the kind of quick drop, it's not there, and then because he kind of bounced and he hitched too many times, it allowed these guys to collapse on Bryant. And then of course he's got K. Hayward in his face. But also, I don't know what Harrison Bryant was doing here. Like, where are you going, Doug?
Why do you keep floating into the linebacker?
Where are you going, man? Where are you going? Like, I got him. I mean, that would have got picked, but who knows if Harrison Bryant actually just stood there if it would have got picked? But maybe, probably. All right, so. But the thing is, okay, so like I said, they're playing like these drop cover 3 looks. Like this ends up being cover 3 again, even though these two guys drop. And it just felt like these kind of deep comebacks and deep outs were just there all game. And they didn't want to take them. You see here, he hits Bachman on it. Against Joey Porter. And then on this one, you're going to see his DJ Turner. You're going to get that little out and up from DJ Turner. And you go just watch Joey Porter here. Watch how he plays this, right? Porter is playing. He's not going to play a deep ball here, right? Because we're getting the double digs on the back. They got it all covered up. But Porter is not playing a deep ball, which leaves DJ Turner, open here. And of course, you got Minka come over the top. It's actually a pretty good ball from O'Connell to get that ball down. Great catch from DJ Turner. Right. So, and then of course, I just put this in here because it pissed me off that they waited this long. But it's these choice routes. This was there all game. Like there was nobody inside that could have guarded him. So, it was frustrating. I just, they can't play like if they're scared of Aiden O'Connell, like if they he can't play quarterback, that's fine. You got to play Minshew then if you're going to be that vanilla, you're not going to be able to run offense. So especially because they can't run the ball. Like if you can't run the ball, you're going to have to throw the ball downfield regardless of how it looks at the end of the day. You're going to have to take some shots, and they didn't take any. And like the one they took, which I basically showed. And I don't know if people could scroll through the film. It's $14.99 NFL Pro. You guys can scroll through the film. You show me all the deep shots they took because I didn't see any. So it was just annoying, bro. But DJ Glaze, he looks all right, man. Glaze looks all right. It's okay. He looks all right.
One of the few silver linings. Yeah. I think what's frustrating too for me, and maybe it'll be different now that they're like, because like going into the game, they still had a chance. But like you got when you're going into your second quarterback, you got nothing to lose. Like just let it loose. Let it rip. Let him see what you got. And look, if we probably not great to hear if you're Aiden O'Connell, but if he takes a beating, he takes a beating. Like at the end of the day, like find out if he's your quarterback of the future. Find out if he's your guy, and just let him let it rip. You know what I mean? Like, and if he's bad, so what? You know what you already know. Then it's okay. We got to go find a quarterback in the offseason. Like, just let it rip. And like, why? I don't understand why. And again, maybe it will change now that they're kind of starting to go into the tank, and it's like maybe they'll cut it loose a little bit, but like, why are you playing scared? Like, just give it a chance. Like, push the ball down the field. I mean, I understand you want to keep TJ Watt in check, but sometimes just drop back and throw it.
Yeah.
Let it rip. And it just feels like the whole thing, like they were just playing scared, kind of like what you talked about. Like, just, I just don't know why. It's like, just let them play. Let them play ball at the end of the day.
Yeah, man. I know they want to help DJ Glaze, but like, to me, it was more like, okay, like Brock Bowers is your guy at this point, right?
Yeah.
You have him chipping. But that's also why you need a number one wide receiver, because that happens sometimes. I mean, that's how you beat the Chiefs, in my opinion. You make Travis Kelce come in and have to chip, which then takes him from doing what he likes to do. And that's what happened this game. It's like when you have that number one tight end like that, and he has to chip, it just takes away from the whole offense, especially when you want to build it around him. So yeah, it was just they just played terrified. So that was a lot of it.
Yeah. Pretty much.
All right, let's get into the defense, man.
Get to the defense. Sounds good. All right, so for rental advisory warning, this is going to get ugly. Let's start with this first play. We're just going to kind of go over more of the basic runs first, or the more traditional runs that were an issue. Now, the first thing I noticed about this play, and this is a little bit of what I'm talking about with the game plan, or a little bit of where they weren't in sync. Now, I obviously don't know the play call, so I'm guessing a little bit here, but I feel pretty confident in saying that Matthew Butler is in the wrong alignment in this side, and here's why. If you notice, we've got not DJ Glaze, Adam Butler here as a 4-eye technique on the inside shade of the tackle. I think Butler needs to match him to get into a traditional bear front, because if you're looking at this, we got Jenkins, who I guess is slightly shaded on the center, but for the most part, he's head up, and we're leaving the B gap wide open. And then on top of it, too, we got Jack Jones out here on the outside. So we've got way too much space pre-snap between our two defensive tackles, our nose tackle and what should be our defensive tackle, the 4-eye technique or the 3 technique, and on top of it, one linebacker and on the second level, or one true linebacker on the second level, and then Jack Jones. So again, I'm pretty sure Butler, who again was just called up off the practice squad, making his first start of the year, is in the wrong alignment. But again, maybe I'm giving Patrick Graham too much credit, because I would find it hard to believe, especially in a heavy set, that you'd leave the B gap open like this. But to be honest with you, didn't really matter, because if you we'll watch John Jenkins here first. I mean, this is the nose tackle that's got to be in the game to absorb contact and take on double teams. And I mean, he gets pushed into Spillane, and I think Spillane, especially since he's the only guy on the second level with the two outside backers, walked up on the line of scrimmage. And again, Jack Jones in the box. Spillane probably should be a little bit more patient, so he can play the cutback, which Najee Harris ends up doing. But again, doesn't really help when your nose tackle gets blocked into you 5 yards down the field. That's the bigger problem. And it's frustrating too, because the front side of these gaps were plugged up pretty well by Adam Butler and Charles Snowden here. That's why Harris cuts it back. Now moving back here to Matthew Butler. Again, I'm pretty sure, maybe not, in the wrong technique here. And on top of it, he ends up getting reached. So not only do we not have anybody in the B gap, now we don't have anybody in the C gap, because he gets reached by Darnell Washington. And look where Najee Harris runs, right where I was talking about, with that voided area in the B gap and where our defensive tackle should be. I think he ends up picking up 7 here. Even more than that. And then, of course, yards after contact. We'll see that again later. All right, this one, a little more another frustrating one. This was the first rep where I was like, man, they really are missing Christian Wilkins. Like, because obviously they're going in an even front here. Jenkins is out of the game. And I would think Christian Wilkins would be either one of these two defensive tackles, which we'll see on this rep. Those two become an issue. Now, I do think Butler, is right in that he's supposed to stay in the A gap, because you're going to see Divine Diablo crash downhill pretty hard. Plus, Diablo's cheating a little wide pre-snap. So I think he's right in there. And I think Butler's in his gap at this point. The problem is, against this outside zone look, he keeps running his feet and working wide. And it looks like, to me, he's maybe trying to be a hero and try and make this play in the B gap, and ends up getting too far outside and loses gap control. Like, This is a situation where, hey, just do your job. You're not Christian Wilkins. You're not going to be able to dominate this guy physically and then hump him by and make plays in the opposite gap like we've seen before. So just stay, inside leverage on this guard. And I bet Warren doesn't even go through the gap because he sees the jersey there. Now, the other problem, to go back on the backside, this is the other part of the reason why that cutback lane was so wide open. Once again, Matthew Butler gets reached. Like we'll see it again here, lined up as the 2-eye technique on inside shade of that guard. And I mean, beat off the ball. This is supposed to be a combo block, and the center doesn't even have to help him because, again, guard just wins off the snap. Another reason why it's combo block, or what right it ends up going for a big gain. I mean, Spillane ends up getting away with working underneath the block and then making the tackle, but it's still like a pickup of like 7 or 8 on the ground. All right. Okay. Close your eyes. Let's start with Jenkins since we're talking about the run blocking. Again, see him right here. This time lined up as the 2-eye technique. Again, taking on another combo block. I mean, we're getting pushed out to the hash, losing 3 or 4 yards in the ground. I mean, making this center's job easy. He was picking up Spillane. And again, nowhere near the play. Now, the other part, and this is the frustrating thing about the Raiders' defense this year so far, this is a great rep by Adam Butler. He ends up splitting the double team here, doing a nice job winning and defeating the block, working in between these guys, splitting these dudes to get penetration, be able to make the play. Problem is, missed the tackle. On the other side of the formation, Nate Hobbs, he also does a good job defeating the block, getting inside, being in a position to make the tackle. However, just like Adam Butler, he misses the tackle. Davante Diablo gets a chance. He falls off. Paul Lamau knocks him off. Paul Lamau doesn't make the tackle either. Then we're along for the ride. This isn't even the worst one yet. But like,
playing Appalachian State, bro.
I don't know, dude. I saw. I think it was Ted Wynn tweeted like the Raiders made Najee Harris look like Jerome Bettis. I'm like, he must have tweeted this after watching this play because good God. Like I don't think I've seen a guy carry that many NFL defenders before. All right, let's see which one we got here. Watch Davante Diablo, who I think for the most part had a pretty good game. Got screwed by getting by a couple penalties. I think he had a PBU. The PBU was on 2-point conversion. Had a pick that got wiped away by a questionable roughing the passer call. But we'll see on this one. This is where the tackling starts to get real bad. The Steelers are going to run a little weak zone here. Again, front side's doing a pretty good job. We're plugging up the gaps. Najee Harris has to cut it back. This was actually a good route from Matthew Butler where he gets a little bit of a displacement here on the line of scrimmage. Problem is, Davante Diablo, who again is responsible for the C gap, he decides I'm just going to try and run through Darnell Washington's chest. The problem is Darnell Washington's like 280, and that's not going to work. This might work against a tight end, but this does not work against the offensive tackle with an eligible number. Yep. So he's going to try again, Davante Diablo, instead of getting on an edge and, at this point with the angle that Washington is taking, like Davante Diablo could get away with like putting his foot in the ground right here and then closing the gap with the man, and he might be able to make this play. But again, he tries to go through his chest instead. That leaves Jack Jones to come downhill and make the play. And good God. My thing is too, like Jack Jones breaks down here to try to make this tackle. This is the tackle to me where, especially when you're at a size disadvantage, at this point, just run through his outside leg. Just go full speed, don't stop, and put your helmet right on his thigh board, or put your shoulder pad right on his outside leg. And if he cuts it up the field, that's where you want him to cut anyway, because then he goes back into the defense. What we can't do is break down so we don't get juked out and then still get juked out. And it's off to the races. At that point, I think that was the longest run by Najee Harris of his season. Not to be outdone by the next one.
This is the play that pissed me off. I don't even watch this.
Yeah, you might want to close your eyes, guys. So for starters, I will say like the Raiders kind of get screwed a little bit here. Like we'll see. We watch Adam Butler and Maxx Crosby here. It looks like they try and run like a little stunt or a twist, which typically you want to run out of passing downs, but it can work against the run. It's just you can't get caught in a vulnerable position. Like you'll see Butler start to work more like laterally and up the field, whereas Crosby looks like he might be trying to loop around him, which is part of the problem because the Steelers run this outside zone right to that side. So they kind of do get screwed by a little bit by alignment on that one, or by the play call. Now on top of it too, Divine Diablo, this time he definitely should be fitting to the outside of Darnell Washington, but like we just saw, didn't learn his lesson, tried to go through his chest again, and ends up getting sealed. Now, here's the real frustrating part for me because of all this. We notice all this. Divine Diablo is not his gap. They get a little bit of screwed by the twist. But at the end of the day, this still should go for no gain because Robert Spillane is doing a great job. Runs the alley, beats this guard to the spot because of all the commotion going on the trenches with that little twist. And Robert Spillane should be able to make this play. But I want you to watch this closely, Marcus. Watch Spillane and watch Nate Hobbs, who gets lucky because this tight end doesn't realize he's supposed to block him. One of these two guys should be able to make the tackle. Robert Spillane over pursues it and ends up picking or setting a screen on Nate Hobbs.
Wow.
So not only does he miss the tackle, he basically blocks someone for the offense. And then on top of it, Divine Diablo still has a chance to make the play. He misses. Paul Mao takes too flat of an angle and comes probably a little bit too far downhill. Ends up getting blocked, and it's a race to the end zone. Again, tackling, I don't know what to say at this point.
Good Lord.
All right, moving on to Justin Fields' runs, which this first one, I'll cut the Raiders a little bit of slack here. I think they're running, I think this is cover one look. So they get caught in man coverage. And you'll see like once, so Divine Diablo start to widen with the back here. The one thing I will say is I'm not 100% sure why Robert Spillane is widening. Maybe you could say he's, widening to the passing strength with the two receivers to that side of the formation. But like he doesn't even turn his head to locate to see if a threat's going out there. Like if you notice, like he kind of does that subtle move to the side. And once Fields sees that and sees that it's man coverage, I mean, his eyes light up. And again, part of it too is this right tackle clearly didn't have the right play call, and Maxx Crosby gets a free rush, so that influenced it too. But again, going back to Spillane here, once Spillane took that step to the left, like he's not catching Justin Fields, like he's not making that play, and that's part of the problem. I'll cut the Raiders a little bit of slack on this one. Just kind of got caught in man coverage, but one might ask why you run man coverage against them. This one was the one that I can't fathom. I believe this is, let's see. This is 1st and 20 I have here. Maybe not, actually. This is not quite 20, but whatever. It's a long distance. So the Raiders come out and they see this empty formation and they walk both linebackers out to play man coverage. I think they end up rolling to 2-man here, which, again, if you're playing a guy like Russell Wilson, that's totally fine coverage because you're not worried about Russell Wilson's running. But when you're playing Justin Fields, the rules change. This is where you want Justin Fields because you want him to have to throw the ball. But, again, I think you can see Fields here. It looks like he's checking something at the line, making some sort of communication. I'm pretty sure he's saying, hey, look, they're leaving the middle of the field open for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call an RPO, which is basically just a QB draw, or RPO, a college RPO, which is off of a QB draw. And, again, second or first and whatever, first and forever, and they just give him the middle of the field. He's going to take that every time. Ends up picking up 20. So this is where I'm talking about, where I'm like, did they think they were playing Russell Wilson? Because this is just a bad play call to not have anybody in the middle of the field. Like, just run cover one like you've been doing all year, where Spillane sticks here on the hash and prevents that from happening. Instead, Spillane has to widen because, again, they're in man running 2-man, it looks like.
Mm-hmm. Why would you run 2-man against Justin Fields?
Good question.
Why would you?
I asked myself the same thing.
I wouldn't run 2-man against Russell Wilson because Russell Wilson would still at least. I mean, he wouldn't be as fast as Fields is right now, but he would at least get 10 on here.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe and that's where I'm kind of thinking of like, okay, so when you're not playing a quarterback that runs a 4-3, you can get away with this. But Justin Fields runs a 4-3. I hate to break it to the Raiders. They found that out the hard way.
That's crazy. I'm sorry. Yeah. Keep going, man.
No. And then you're good. And then this one's going to be a scramble. More than anything, just bad tackling again. We'll see here. Adam Butler has a chance for the sack. So this should be 5-6 yard loss on first down. Would have put him behind the sticks. But Adam Butler misses the tackle. Charles Snowden pursues. He has a chance to make the play. He probably Fields might get back to the line here. Should be loss 1. He misses the tackle. And what should have been 2nd and 15 is 2nd and 2 right on the goal line. It's just missed tackle. I don't know what to say at this point. Like, it's literally, and they all come in bunches. 2 missed tackles on one play. I don't think we've seen a single rep here with missed tackles where there was only one on the entire play. Again, this is another example of where I don't know if the Raiders were really prepared for Fields. This is going to be that first little bootleg. I believe this was 4th down, if I remember correctly. Raiders are going to sell out hard for the run on the play action fake. You'll see Divine Diablo here. I'm pretty sure Divine Diablo was supposed to be the guy that has contain on Justin Fields, but he crashes down hard, ends up getting tripped up in the trash here. And then once Fields sees that he has the corner, the only guy he's got to beat is Tyree Wilson. If you guys remember Trey Lance in the preseason, Tyree Wilson's not going to win that. Again, great as soon as great
effort.
What's up?
Great effort.
Yeah, I love the effort, man. But you're not going to win that foot race. So again, once Fields sees he has green grass, just laying out for the run, falling over each other, it was game over. All right, but this is the last play here where I'm like, what the hell was going on? And I just want you guys, do me a favor, just watch Trevon Merrick and watch Robert Spillane's heads or their eyes. I'll let it run. I wonder who has the ball right now. Do you think Robert Spillane has it figured out? Now he does. Look at Trevon Merrick. Still looking at Najee Harris. Poor Nate Hobbs. It is Nate Hobbs, 2 offensive linemen, and Justin Fields.
They are mad confused by that play. Good Lord.
And here's the frustrating part for me. And again, I think it speaks to them being underprepared. A few things that are frustrating for this. So if they had tossed this, right? Say they had Fields had actually given the ball to Najee Harris. They have 3 defenders to take on 2 offensive players. One of those guys being a wide receiver that's running split flow action to fake what I would imagine is a flat route. So we don't need you, Robert Spillane and Trevon Merrick, to follow Najee Harris. We have 3 guys for that. To be fair, don't know if they're going to make the tackle, but numbers-wise, we have those guys there. And on top of it, too, watch the offensive line. They all flow hard to the left for this pin and pull concept with the left guard pulling. So if Robert Spillane and Trevon Merrick just read their keys, which is the offensive line, they'll be right there to make the play. Yeah. If they don't, they get caught with their eyes in the backfield because, again, I'm assuming they're not prepared for it. On top of it, too, this isn't Charles Snowden's fault, but then they get with the pin and pull concept, they get the crack block on the edge linebacker to help free that up even more. And again, that's how you end up with your corner trying to figure out how he's going to beat 2 offensive linemen to make this play. And that's what's frustrating. It's like, were they not prepared? Like, were they not ready to go? Because again, we have the numbers to this side. If they do toss it to Najee, and the offensive line, if you just read your keys, would take you to where you need to be. But it isn't. Field scores anyway.
Good Lord.
Yeah, it was disheartening. It literally like took the soul out of me to watch some of those plays. I'm like, this is just bad football. This is bad football team film at that point, which I guess it's what we have to live with, the reality that they are.
Yeah.
That was awful.
See, I can see why, because BD texted me, he was like, man, the defense was awful. So everybody's hurt by the defense. That's what I'm saying. Like, but we're not really talking about how bad the defense is playing. I feel like that's not really a conversation. Conversations who's the next OC for the quarterback is going to be. I'm like, I'm looking at it. I'm like, who's our DC at this point? Because Patrick Graham's not surviving this either. Go ahead.
I was just saying, I think what it is like like we talked about it too. Like the beginning of the year, like they were playing all right. It just felt like, hey, it's one or two bad plays. Now it's just. But they're just slowly regressing by the week. And part of it's the injuries again that we've talked about, and they are banged up. But I think that's why we're not getting as much focus on the defenses. Like, and I mean, we've talked about it too. Like the first few games, there were plenty of times where the film was fine.
Yeah.
Minus a handful of plays or a handful of missed tackles. But yeah, the last 2 weeks has been pretty ugly. Like I'm trying to find silver linings, and they're just not out there outside of Maxx Crosby doing his thing.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean the injuries are playing a toll and are a big reason for it, but it's just still like you wish they'd play smarter, because even that play, the last play, I felt like the whole team went that way. Like I'm like, they're blocking you this way though, so why is the team going? Like
very true. Yeah, I think even the D line, like there were a couple guys that seemed like they like gave up on the play, and like they were all just like, oh shit.
Oh man, yeah.
Which again speaks to bad coaching and just not being prepared at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I legitimately, like, part of me thinks like, yeah, maybe they legitimately thought Russell Wilson was going to play, and then they found out he wasn't. They're like, oh shit.
That's bad. Yeah, because I don't know. Yeah, that's they played super scared on offense, and then defense they were just all over the place. I mean, that was basically this whole game. And to think about it, like if Justin Fields wasn't as bad as he was, man,
he missed some throws badly.
Yeah, and this was he did that pick. He got saved. If he wasn't as bad as he was,
oh yeah,
that's why he got benched. I mean, that's why he's getting benched still. Like they won 32-13. He's getting benched, and the reason is because I mean, if he was, the game could have been worse for all of us to watch, and that's kind of the scary part. Still losing 32-13 is that it could have been worse.
Yeah. Had the Steelers just run the ball like from the jump, I think it wouldn't have been close. Like,
yeah,
I don't know why I mean, I think Derek, I think I saw a tweet that his theory was that they were trying to see if Fields could handle the passing concepts, something like that. So basically just toying with the Raiders. I'm like, you know what? I can buy it.
They didn't respect the Raiders at all. I mean, they didn't respect them on offense either. They're like, man, we're just gonna sit here and play, our usual thing. We're not gonna mix it up too much. And like Getsy, bro, they're playing cover 3, bro. Like, there's so many things you can attack with spot drop cover 3. Like, this is like there's a reason why Seattle can't do it, or like Gus Bradley is struggling every once in a while if he doesn't have the players to do it. Man, like there's just things you can attack that are going to be there every single time playing spot drop cover 3. And he was like, you know what? I'm going to throw right into it to the flats. Like it was frustrating. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know how it's going to go going forward, but I don't know if it's going to get any better than this. I don't. It's depressing at the swing, man. I don't know.
Hopefully it gets better. Hopefully we'll get a little better.
Hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully, it's just better to watch. Give me some more watchable football. That's all I can ask for. I mean, if they end up losing some of these games, at least it was like, okay, it's watchable. Like, can we lose by like a game-winning field goal or something? I would rather lose that way, to be honest. I mean, it's just ugly. All right, so guys, we are out of here. Like I said, hit the subscribe button, subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you guys check out the member section. I'm probably gonna do like Shador Sanders or something this week. So check for that tomorrow. And but we're out of here, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Peace.